Welcome to day 14 of the 28-day photo challenge. Today is my least favorite, light painting. We're gonna need a very fine light source, like a small flashlight, preferably one with only a single LED, or a very long light source, but usually nothing very complex that can make tons of flare off of the lens. We're also gonna need a tripod, and it's gonna have to be dark. So it's gonna be kind of hard for you to see most of what's going on, but let's get into it. Excuse the flickering if you can see it. When you're buying LEDs and stuff, there's like a bunch of stuff you gotta look into. I'll get into that in a minute, but basically I'm just using this flashlight so I can focus in on the truck, make that the focal point. And I'm shooting at f4, so that way it's kind of sharp. ISO 100, so that way, you know, it's as dark as it can be. And a 60-second exposure is gonna be overexposed by a fair amount, so I'm actually gonna bring that up. Let's say 20 seconds. So it'll be one stop underexposed, which should be fine. Actually, I should probably make it a little bit darker, 15 seconds. That should be enough for me to run around like an idiot. What we're doing today is light painting. That's what I was gonna get at with like the flashlight thing here. But when you're dealing with LEDs, you have to, whoa, you can actually see the diode. Cool. Wow, this thing is really bright, Jesus. Anyway, ADHD happening. I just got like super distracted there. When you're buying LEDs, you have to watch the voltage because LEDs are really low voltage. If you have something that's a really high voltage, for instance, this flashlight, which has a single diode, which you can see, when you have something that's 3.6 volts on a single LED, it's gonna have some kind of like voltage conversion or at least something that's stepping down the voltage. And if it's not a very good one, they flicker like crazy on a camera. So this is just like a cheap little work light thing. So it's not a great flashlight, but that doesn't really matter in the scope of this video because we're just doing light painting. So all we need is something that makes light. What I can do, set that timer. Good, it's taking the picture. Now I can just run around like an idiot and flap this light everywhere. Okay, cool. Actually, wait, I think the light was flashing off of my legs, so it's probably gonna be visible in the picture. Yeah, you can see my legs a little bit. We'll try it again. Go here, 2 seconds. We'll shine the flashlight away from me. We'll just kind of start right here, and we'll just do like these little like S movement things. We'll just keep going, out of frame. Okay, cool. So now what's happening is the sensor is completely open, so it's not actually looking at me in the frame. You can see we have these little highlights here, but it is still reflecting off of my sweater a bit. So I can change the f-stop down even further. We can come down to f8. That's gonna be good. It's gonna be really sharp. I'm gonna bump that timer up to 30 seconds to give me a lot of time. Now what I'm gonna do is before I run over there, I'm gonna shine the flashlight across the truck so that way we have lighting across the truck. And I'll run across over here so that way we have a really wide light and it's gonna make like a line in the reflection of the truck. And then I'm gonna run over like an idiot and shine it around all in the truck bed to make it look like the truck is carrying light. At least in theory, that's my plan. So we're gonna try that out. We're leaving the sensor open and it's capturing tons of light off of the sensor. And because we're moving, it's not actually capturing us in the picture because there's not enough light on us and we're not standing still in one place to actually catch all of that in the picture. That could have been a little bit better. Maybe if I got up a little bit more. I'm gonna do that again. Try and get more light on the truck itself. Block the light. Run over here like an idiot. And now I'm just gonna kind of move around a whole bunch like an idiot. Let's see what that looks like. Still looks kind of stupid. But I am freezing right now, so I'm gonna call it. But with light painting, because it's so bright, the sensor picks it up immediately. Because when the sensor is open for a really long time, it's gathering light off of everything. So the darker it is, the more light it needs. So when we're exposing for super dark things, then when we have the flashlight out, it's so bright that the sensor picks it up immediately. Because what's happening is all of the dark objects in the picture can't be picked up right away, which is why we have to leave the shutter open for so long, because it's gathering light information continuously. It's seeing this overall black image, and then it adds another one with a little bit of things that are lightened up in it, and another one. And it just keeps adding them over and over, and all of the dark surfaces aren't adding as much light, but all of the ones with very, very minor adjustments in lighting are being added and becoming brighter and brighter. So as we're using an artificial light source, we're adding more light than is naturally there. So we're getting an overall dark image, but wherever the light is hitting, it's gaining a lighter exposure that's being added to the picture. So for 30 seconds, everything in that picture is being absorbed on the sensor. But anything that moves isn't super visible because it hasn't been sitting there long enough for the light to reflect off of it into the sensor, which is why when I'm running around, the light isn't reflecting off of me, so I'm not giving off enough exposure to go back at the sensor to actually see me in the picture. But if I stand still on the back tire of the truck, so I'm standing in the truck bed with the flashlight moving it around, there's gonna be like a blurry outline of where I was standing because I wasn't moving enough to dissipate all of the light that's coming off of me. So by running around and jumping all over the place like an idiot, I'm making sure that any light that's coming off of me is not enough light that's gonna reflect into the sensor to make it so that I'm visible. And because the light is so bright compared to every other exposure, every portion of it that was visible to the sensor of the camera when it was sitting there, that is the light painting that we're seeing, the light flowing through out of the back of the truck. And you can do this for all kinds of stuff too. Like you can even write words. I've seen people do it with car pictures where they spin the flashlight around a whole bunch so that way it looks like it has lights, like for the tires, like the tires are just like balls of light. You may have seen people do this with steel wool when they light it on fire and then spin it around and it makes that giant halo of like burning steel wool with all the little particles spraying off everywhere. Super cool effect. That again is light painting. I've recorded all of the videos that I wanted to do today and I am completely frozen. Like it's only minus 27 right now, which is like almost minus 17 degrees Fahrenheit, which really isn't that bad because we get days that are like minus 35 to minus 40 here after the wind chill. I think it's just because I'm so close to the lake right now that I'm not getting like an accurate temperature reading because it feels significantly colder than minus 27 degrees Celsius. Or it could just be me being a wimp. But anyway, hopefully you got something out of this video. Like it if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, or don't do any of it. I'm not telling you what to do.